Also in the news, the president-elect's cabinet nominees. This week, all eyes are on Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a Catholic who is Trump's pick to head the Department of Health and Human Services. RFK Jr. arrived in Washington Monday, meeting with senators on Capitol Hill in hopes of getting their support and ultimately vote to confirm his appointment. His views on things from vaccines to processed foods have been met with a wide range of reactions, from skepticism to concern to praise. However, his views on abortion are in the news today. And joining us now is Alison Centofante with Americans United for Life. Alison, welcome back. Good to see you again. RFK Jr. met with Senator Josh Hawley yesterday. The Missouri senator then took to Twitter saying this. He said he committed to me to reinstate President Trump's pro-life policies at HHS. That includes reinstating the Mexico City policy and ending taxpayer funding for abortions domestically, that is. Alison, your reaction to that, and to also talk to us more about the Mexico City policy and the impact reinstating it would have on the pro-life movement.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tracy. We are so excited to hear of this news from RFK Jr. You know, I thought back to when he was at the Iowa State Fair and he was still running for president at the time. They asked him where his line on abortion was, and he said 3 months. He called abortion horrible. He's called it a tragedy before. I was really impressed. That's way more pro-life than so many Democrats, and definitely more pro-life than the Democrat Party. So now that Trump has him on his team, now that we're looking at him as potentially HHS secretary, which would have big authority over entities like the FDA, I'm encouraged that he is the right person to be able to see major reform, to bring back more pro-life policies that protect women and children. Like you said, getting rid of President Biden's EOs, returning the Mexico City policy, and also reinstating common sense safety measures on the abortion pill that the abortion industry got rid of during COVID, and we are seeing the repercussions of it now. So I'm encouraged that he is the right guy to fight back, and I think he's more pro-life than his team let him, that his team even wanted him to be during him running for president.
Yeah, and we spoke to Senator Hawley today about RFK's stance on mifepristone. Here's what he had to say.
I signaled my view that it was my hope that he would return to what was the rule under President Trump, which is that mifepristone should have in-person dispensing requirements. And he said that he was open to that and he would take the president's direction.
And Alison, your reaction to that?
That's great. For those watching, mifepristone is the abortion pill. It ends the life of a child. It's horrific. It's tragic. And so what Senator Hawley's saying there is that he and RFK Jr. discussed, while this pill is still legal in the United States, at least ensuring that women are safe and have an in-person visit with a doctor and follow-up care, which used to be the standard of care before COVID. During COVID, the abortion industry lobbied the FDA to get rid of those common sense safety regulations called REMS. And then women started getting these pills through the mail. No in-person visit, Tracy, no follow-up care. And we've heard these stories in the news where women have hemorrhaged, have gotten sepsis, have died because no one made sure how they were before taking the pill or after. And so while we as pro-lifers want to support every child, we know they were made on purpose and irreplaceable. Right now, we live in a society with a legal abortion pill. And while that is legal, we should make sure at least, and this is something that RFK Jr. can do and is saying that he will do, we should hold him to that, to reinstate safety measures on that pill to make sure women are truly at least cared for. And we will always be there to accept women after their abortion for healing, which they will need. And we will do everything we can to make sure that they are supported in choosing life. But I'm really encouraged that these two have had this conversation, and we have someone who has sought reform before. And I think we should all work and pray to move RFK Jr. even more on life, that he sees the tragedy that it is, that he said it is, and he would do just at least this for now, if not more in the future, to protect women from this pill.
Yeah, not a whole lot of time left, but I want to get to this. Senator Tuberville from Alabama, as you know, also met with RFK Jr., and he had this to say about his meeting. Let's take a listen.
We talked about abortion, and the big thing about abortion is he's telling everybody, he said, listen, whatever President Trump, I'm going to back him 100%.
And Alison, Trump has said that, he's against a nationwide ban, and he wants the states to decide for themselves. Is there a move to change that stance, or, is this the reality that we have?
Yeah. Well, just like with anything, it's really hard to know what someone says versus what they do. But the president has signaled that he will not pursue a federal ban on abortion and that he sent it back to the states, which is what effectively happened because he got those Supreme Court justices in. And so in every state, Americans United for Life is going to seek the most pro-life legislation that we can get. Of course, that's going to look differently in Alabama and Texas versus California or New York, but we need to be creative and wise in encouraging our legislators to stand for life, to stand for things like parental notification, parental consent, and going after big abortion, who gets to make money off of women in very vulnerable situations. And so, RFK Jr. and Trump's appointments, they serve at the pleasure of the president. The president has moved his position on life before. If you remember, he used to say, oh, Planned Parenthood's so good. And then someone got to him, and the next day he said, never mind, someone told me they do abortions and they're bad. These are movable, persuadable people, and we want to continue to see that happen. We saw it happen with Trump in Florida on Amendment 4. So the pro-life movement, keep speaking up, keep advocating for life. They are listening to us, and they will, I pray, respond in this new administration.
All right, Alison, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much. Always good to be with you.
Thank you.